These are the 3 best books that I've ever read on getting your mindset right so you can actually have success. Now, I know a lot of stuff is like woo-woo, and it's like, oh, mindset books. Listen, guys, if you're unwilling to spend the time to actually get your mind right, your mind is the basis, it's the foundation for everything else you do, right? Whether that's business, whether that's personal, whether that's anything in between, it is the basis for all of that. So if your mindset is not correct, everything else is not going to be correct too. Now, the first book I want to share is a book that personally changed my life. It's called PsychoCybernetics. PsychoCybernetics is a book that covers many different topics, but the reason why I love it so much is that a lot of the self-help, self-development mindset books that I read before this point were very like woo-woo and very like hokey-pokey. Okay, what I mean by that is it was like, oh, there's this energy and the energy is flowing through the air and you are, gonna hum a certain tune, and then when that happens, like magically you're gonna end up with what you want. Like it wasn't like, I'm obviously exaggerating a little bit, but it was just like, it was good advice, but it wasn't really like, didn't make any sense to me. And I'm someone I like to know why things are the way that they are. So PsychoCybernetics was the first book I read, and by the way, recommended to me by Alex Becker. The first book I read though that was somewhat science-based in its explanations. So one of the things it talks about in the book is self-identity. And it talks about the way you look at yourself dramatically affects the results you get in life. And they use the example of the author is this guy named Dr. Maxwell Maltz. He was a plastic surgeon, and he would come in and have these people that were like beautiful, right? They were like, these amazing photogenic people. And they would like be like, oh, I'm ugly, like you need to fix my face. And then you have people that would come in reluctantly because their families forcing them to, from post, some sort of war or something with big cuts and messed up face. And they looked at it as a sign of pride. They're like, yeah, I was in the war, I served my country, and they didn't want to fix their face. They were happy, they were actually proud of the way that it was. And he was like, how could someone that's objectively like ugly, right, with these crazy mutilations on their face, look at that as a good thing? And someone that's like objectively beautiful, look at it as a bad thing? Because it's self-identity. It has nothing to do with reality, right? So with that being said, the question I always ask myself whenever I read that book is, what's more important, reality or what you believe reality to be, right? In other words, if you're out in the forest and you see a bear, and let's say your initial reaction is to run away, right? That's reality. But let's say that you're out there and you see what you think with 100% certainty is a bear. You 100% believe that that is a bear. But in reality, it's just a dude dressed up in a bear costume. Well, you're still going to have the same reaction, even though it's a different reality, right? It's not really a bear. Because you believe that that is a reality, you're still going to have the same reaction, right? So that's the first book, PsychoCybernetics. The second book is Atomic Habits. Now, Atomic Habits is an amazing book about how to create good habits and break down and remove bad habits from your life, hence the name Atomic Habits. Now, it touches a little bit on the self-identity part, which is actually the foundational part that you need to build new habits. And that's why I always recommend you read PsychoCybernetics first before Atomic Habits, because PsychoCybernetics is all about the self-identity, whereas Atomic Habits is about what comes after that, right? But once you have that in place, the Atomic Habits framework that they have is just phenomenal. It's a book that I've read a couple times, and I highly, highly recommend it because everyone can improve their habits. And maybe it's not even getting better habits, it's just getting rid of some crappy old habits you don't want to have anymore. Then the third book I really recommend is a book called Extreme Ownership, written by Jocko Willink. And the reason why I recommend this book is because ultimately everything is your responsibility. And whether or not you agree with that will determine massively on how successful you're going to be. The definition for an entrepreneur that Ryan Levesque uses, which is a pretty well-known entrepreneur, is entrepreneurs take personal responsibility for a problem that was not their own. I'm going to say it one more time. Entrepreneurs take personal responsibility for a problem that was not their own. And that's the whole idea of extreme ownership. If you think every problem is someone else's problem, everything that could go wrong is someone else's thing that could go wrong, it's never your fault, it's never your responsibility, then what's going to happen is you're never going to have the power and the control to actually change that. So it's important that you take extreme ownership. Now, the first thing I'd like to challenge you to take extreme ownership in doing is in getting your finances right. So as you know, on some of these videos, we give away some free courses that we normally charge for. We're not going to do that in this video. But in order to win that free course on the next video, you got to be one of the first few people to watch the video all the way through. And you got to find the link in there and fill out that form as being one of the first few people to do that, again, which will be towards middle or the end of the video. So make sure you're subscribed so you actually see the videos right when they come out and that you're notified. So again, you can be like that first or second person to watch the video so that when we are doing a video where we drop a course, you're getting it right away for free. So with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, again, drop a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, And please do yourself a favor. Go read these books. You're going to love them. I will see you on the next video.